Alright, so today we're going to be doing some simple, basic routine maintenance on this car. We've got a half shaft, another half shaft, rear brake hoses, a rear brake caliper, and front and rear struts. And some tools already laid out and ready to go. And a factory service manual, so I know what my torque specs are when I go to put everything back together. So these are the struts that I bought. I wasn't able just to buy one that's like pre-made, so I kind of have to use whatever leftover parts are on this one and make it work. So I don't have a spring compressor tool to actually, to squish the spring down and make it go on there. So I'm gonna jack this wheel up, put pressure on it, and then zip tie the springs together. So to make them shorter, and then I'll put them in here. And then we'll take our loaded bomb assembly, put it in the car, and then bolt it in real quick. Simple. I went ahead, I got the big zip ties. These are humongous. These are pretty much just about the largest ones they make. But we're just gonna come in here and zip tie the spring with a few of these big ones. I figure with these giant zip ties, you should have no problem holding this fairly small spring, to be honest with you. It's definitely not a large, heavy-duty spring. Alright, so you see how we got them up in there? Just to hold the spring together. That should be plenty. And if it's not, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out real quick if that's not enough to hold the spring. Underneath the car, just wanted to show you why I felt like the CV axles needed to be changed, because there's a difference in a tear and a full separation, and that has a kind of more like, parting the Red Sea type of separation. Like, it's not held together with anything, not even hopes and dreams. There's nothing you can really claim there on that one. It's just completely screwed. And the half shaft over here on the passenger side, I don't see many obvious tears or rips in it, but it most likely is the original one. Definitely both due for a change. I was expecting that to be much harder to take out. There we go. It's always something stupid, man. The greasable joint on the tie rod end is preventing me from... It's freaking dumb, man. Go zip this axle nut off real quick with a big old 34mm socket. Nothing has broken so far that's not supposed to. There's still plenty of time. Easy. Look at that. Everything's coming apart like things are supposed to. This should kind of... Yep, that's not connected anymore. There we go. And now one of them's missing. That thing is an old ass piece of shit. Look at that up there. There isn't a speck of rust up in the strut area. This is amazing. I think that it should come out of there. There, I just saw it move. Oh, there's some fluid. You know what? I don't know if you'll be able to see, but that fluid really doesn't look all that bad. It's not black. I can kind of see through it. That could be so much worse. I'll tell you, this axle is really stuck in here. Hey, finally got it out. All I had to do was hit it really hard on the back of the flange there, where it inserts into the transmission. But yeah, I mean, look at how they're not supposed to be that floppy. I know that. And this side, it pretty much fully came apart, and it probably will never go back together again. So I really hope the new ones are right. Otherwise, this car is going to be on the jack stands for another week, waiting for parts to show up. Got our new one here. It looks pretty similar to the old one. Looks honestly the exact same. See how there's much less free play in the CV joints. The boots are brand new, not ripped in any way. So yeah, on paper this is a very easy reinstall. All you do is you stick it up in here and you just push it in a hole. Ah, finally. Man, that was kicking my ass for 30 minutes. I couldn't get that damn thing to go in there to save my life. It's just got this C-ring on it, kind of like that. And in order for it to go in, you have to get the C-ring to kind of go like this. But it doesn't do that, because it's kind of like this. So you have to make it go like this when it's supposed to be like this, so it's really hard to do this motion. But hey, we got a little bit of work done. We're going through now and taking off this coupling shaft, or holder housing thing, thingy-me-bobber, doohickey, what's her collar. We're just taking stuff off. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm only a professional car owner. I'm not a professional car worker. There, that loosened it up a little bit. So now I'm probably just going to break this real quick. But I'm just going to try to tap it, well, just a little bit with the rubber mallet to break it free. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that worked. I thought for sure that was just going to break it right there. Oh baby. Take a look at this. We got the entire passenger side drive shaft out. Well, that gets me excited. This one came out easier than the driver's side one, but this one doesn't have the C-clip on the end of the shaft. It just has an actual housing that, I wonder if the new one has that piece on it already, or if I have to carefully transfer that one. This already has the bolt ring on it, I guess is what you can call it. So this one should actually just slide up in there. The only problem with this is that it is slightly heavy. No way, it just went in that easily. I was fighting the driver's side for like 35 minutes, and then this side, it literally just slides in, and then you throw some bolts up here, and then bam, bam, boom, biggity bop, you're done. Right there. So you obviously can't see shit under here, because everything's covered in oil, which is, just a natural form of rust prevention, but it causes me to be unable to see any discrepancy in pieces or objects or angles, or can't see holes because everything's coated in like a thick layer of grimy oil. So I can't see shit under here. Oh, the zip ties just broke on the spring behind me. It scared the absolute shit out of me. I can't believe how much easier the passenger side went in than the driver's side. Wouldn't have ever expected that, really. It was kind of strange with the new CV axle. They didn't send me a new one of these washers, so hopefully it's good enough to reuse, and let's just fucking tighten her up and send it, bud. See what happens. So it looks like when I was hitting the old axle with the hammer to try to dislodge it from the hub here because it was really stuck, I missed and knocked this wheel stud loose. So looks like I just created a little more work for myself, but I mean, whatever. It's not that bad. I just got to take this off, take the caliper off and the rotor off, pull this one out. And I think I have a couple more of these laying around, so that's not going to be too big of a deal. Finally got it lined up and inserted correctly through the top, so we're just going to start tightening it. got the brake hose reinstalled. We've got the strut in on this side. I didn't knock any of the wheel studs loose on this side like an idiot. They're all still firmly attached. Good job. I haven't been filming too much of this because it's really been fighting me. So I've got my bottom bolts in. I have the spring is compressed. We'll go with that word. I've just got the top passed through and lined up. So I just looked it up here, and the book says to torque the axle nut bolts to anywhere from 145 to 200. Before we finish this job, we're not changing the diff fluid because I don't care. We're just making sure it has enough so that it doesn't burn up or anything. There it is. It's got enough now. Quick, put the plug in it. We're here on a new day. We got everything back together on the front. I installed some new wheel studs, and we even went to Harbor Freight and bought the actual correct tool to compress the springs with, because the zip ties were fun while they lasted, but man, that was really just not fun. It was giving me a hard time. Now we just got to do the rear, which should be much easier than the front. At least that's the logic that I'm going to stick with. Yeah, it still sucks. Great. Missing a fender bolt up here. Not anymore. That's what we got to work with on the rear. Got spring, strut, and some very small brakes. With a noisy dust cover. This thingy right here is the handbrake or parking cable, and as you can see, it's not even under tension right now. The internal spring mechanism, it doesn't work, so like, see how it moves back like that? But then if you pull it forward, like, you know, if you were pulling on the handbrake, which pulls this towards the front of the car, it pulls it like this, but then you see it doesn't spring back, which is preventing the handbrake on the rear from working, at least on this side. And because this side's not working, it doesn't really matter if that side is working or not. It doesn't really do anything, so I don't have a handbrake at the moment. So that's why I've got to change this caliper out. But we're going to start with the struts. There we go. And that's how, look at how sturdy the whole rear suspension is, just because it's the torsion beam axle. So you can just move the whole thing in and out of the way, just whenever you need to. Like, it's not even a hassle. Now, I'm pretty sure the hardest part of this job is going to be getting the trunk open in order to take off the top mount bolts for the strut. Let me show you what I mean by that. So we got trunk. Always got to push it down, make sure it's closed. And you got to come in here, pull the handle 5 or 6 times just to be certain, and then it still doesn't open. So you have to push it down again, hear that click. Then you got to come back, open it again, and then it opens, usually. Yeah, just like it's intended to. Oh yeah, and there's my speaker box subwoofers. Alright, that one's out. See it right there? It's supposed to be like up in there, but it has been removed, which is why it is now not up in there, it's down there. I'm going to take this off pretty carefully because I have to put it back together. And I don't want to mess it up. Alright, so that goes there, and then like that. I don't know if I have to reuse these or not. So we'll make sure we pay close attention to how they come off. Because I am notoriously stupid. And there is no reasonable circumstance that you should ever reuse a dust boot like this. But I don't really care. So I'm going to put it back on the brand new one anyways. But yeah, look at these shocks here. These are actually OEMs. The ones on the front had been changed before. Could have been, you know, it still could have been 20 years ago. But these are actual Nissan, very questionable boot in here that, I'll be honest, I know it's not going to really do anything, but I at least want it to match the fronts, you know. And we'll take our little hat and just knock all the dirt out of it real quick. Perfect, brand new, practically mint. That's pretty simple. Works way better than trying to use zip ties and struggling for 2.5 hours. Bada boop, bada bang. This shock and strut is installed. So we got the strut installed with the spring and the questionable quality of the old reused parts, but hey, I'm sure it's fine. It's not going to be a problem. Last thing we got to change is this caliper and the brake hoses because they're also 30 years old. You probably can't see it, but I'm pretty sure it says DOT 12 of 95. So these brake hoses are over 30 years old. And I've already bought new ones, so we're going to go ahead and get them changed out too. I feel kind of ashamed to admit this, but I actually had to go to the store and buy a 10mm line wrench. All because we just didn't have one at the house. All the line wrenches we got are at the shop. And I'm not at the shop, so I didn't have any. Fucking hate line wrenches so much. So over here on the driver's side of the vehicle, the side where the driver sits, the main reason I wanted to replace these rear hoses before I even knew they were originals is because this one, ever since I've owned the car, has had this really large tear and rip. And it goes down pretty far. Now, I've just sort of been letting it slide and not worrying about it, but today's the day where we're going to finally worry about it and take corrective action. I always get nervous with these line wrenches and the fittings on the ends of them. For some reason, I don't know, I just feel like they're always going to break or round off the fittings on the body side, and then you got a whole big process ahead of you to remake it and flare the new thing and do all the dumb shit. Already got some fluid coming out of this hose. That's good. Doesn't really matter how hard you try to prevent it from getting everywhere. It's just going to get in even more places if you try to stop it. I have a slight unexpected problem with this bleeder screw. It's stuck. We're just going to try to heat it up and spray it with some penetrating fluid. And then we're going to see if we can very gently work it free. Get that thing pretty hot now. I'm gonna see if we can break it free with this socket here. I'm gonna try tightening and loosening it. He's in there pretty good. Oh, I can't tell if it's turning it or if it's rounding it off right now. It's moving. I think it's actually spinning. Hey, I think we did this the correct way. It seems like it's spinning freely to some extent. I'm just not trying to take it all the way out. I'm just trying to work it back and forth to get the threads cleaned up and all the rust knocked out of the hole. We'll let this cool off for a little bit, and then we'll throw the bleeder on here and get it bled. I don't see no bubbles in here, so just fucking tighten her up and take it for a test drive. I don't know what else to do. And get this car back on the ground and take it for test drive. See if any of the work that I've done over the last 2 days is noticeable, worthwhile, or correct. I think it's the combination of the CV axles being replaced with the brand new struts really kind of irons out and smoothens out some of the impurities of the ride. Makes it kind of overall just feel nicer to drive, which is a big deal for this car because this car has been awful to drive ever since I bought it. Seems like it's doing all right. So I was also really checking to make certain that I got both of the axles installed correctly, because I'd made that mistake before when I used to have my Subaru. I didn't install them all the way and it wasn't delivering power correctly. It kind of made the car feel like the clutch was slipping because it wasn't delivering the power correctly, but I think this thing is performing correctly. And this road I'm on is pretty uneven and rough here, and it's doing a fine job, you know. I think these struts actually make a nice difference. I was really expecting them to suck and like be really bouncy still, because I mean I just thought it was in the nature of the car, but I mean they made a huge difference. Like I just hit a bump there, couldn't even feel it. These things are amazing. I'm pretty happy with this. Just crossed over 224,000 miles. Done quite a few fixes over this video. between the struts, the brake caliper, and the brake hoses, and the CV axles. And now I have a functioning handbrake to some extent, and a smooth ride. So I think we're gonna call it a video for today. Hope you enjoyed. Please consider subscribing. Have a great day. Goodbye. Bonus tunnel run content.